Some people guard their advice like trade secrets, but I'm going to tell you why I don't see it that way. Good morning and welcome to a beautifully sunny ride out in Essex again this morning. And as ever, we are off to one of our favourite coffee spots, the Mixing Shed over in Alston. There's only a few of us out this week because, as ever, being the school holidays and with us all being family men, a lot of the fellas are off doing family holidays or other family stuff. But we have an added addition to this week's ride because I had one of my subscribers a couple of weeks ago contact me to say they were thinking of starting their own YouTube channel and did I have any advice for them. And I was happy to give any information that I might have, as useful or not as that may be. And then he asked if I'd mind if he came and joined me for a ride, just to see how I filmed and just to get a few more tips. And I was more than happy to host him. So we're joined this morning by Kus, who's just behind us chatting to Chris at the moment. And as I say, I was more than happy for him to come along and for me to dispense as much information as I can. Now I know I've not got a huge channel, although I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. But any information that I can give to help another cycling creator, well, I'm more than happy to give it. But that got me thinking that a lot of people do tend to gatekeep any advice or information they may have, thinking that it gives an unfair advantage to the competition. And that got me thinking, is YouTube actually a competition? And having thought about it a little bit yesterday, I don't actually think it is. And here is how I came to that assumption. YouTube is not a zero-sum game. People aren't watching instead of, they're watching as well as. Think a bit like Netflix. You don't pick one show to watch for life. And although the argument to that might be, well, yeah, but you do watch one show until the end, and then you move on to something else. And translating that to YouTube might be, well, I'm only going to watch one particular creator's videos, and then move on to another creator. But YouTube doesn't work like that, because in general, any video from any creator, in the cycling genre at least, from my experience, is only going to be 10, 15 or 20 minutes long. I mean, I have made some longer videos in the past when I've done bike builds and stuff, but generally speaking, if it's a vlog style video, it's going to be something that you can watch easily in one sitting. And even when you've watched a 10-15 minute video, you may well then watch another 10 or 15 minute video from another creator. For instance, no one's watching, or at least I don't think they are, no one's watching Francis Cade or Katie Kookaburra's videos and then thinking, well, I'm not going to bother watching Peter Treadway's video after that. I know myself, as a cycling content consumer, I tend to binge watch as many creators as I can find. And in fact, sometimes there's not enough content for me to watch. I tend to watch content from other cycling creators while I'm doing stuff around the house, of which that takes up a lot of my time. So I'll put my headphones on, I'll prop the phone up somewhere in the kitchen and then just listen in on most videos. And so I'll often find that I'll finish watching a couple of videos, I've still got quite a bit of work to do, and there's no more content left to watch. And I like to imagine that that's probably how most people consume their content these days, because we're all leading increasingly busy and difficult lives. And so if people do want to watch videos on subjects that they're interested in, sometimes you just have to slot it in where you can. So again, people aren't watching instead of, they're watching as well as. Another thing from my point of view as well is, the more content creators there are, the more opportunities I've got to have collaborations with people. And that's not something that just benefits me as a creator, because again, as someone who consumes a lot of cycling content, I love nothing more than seeing Mitch Bowyer turn up in a bike source video, or again, Francis Cade turning up in a Katie Kookaburra video. People who watch videos love to see their favourite content creators doing videos with each other. So collaboration works for both the creator and the audience. Also on that point is that sometimes people will sub to a channel, not necessarily because of your content, although generally speaking they will, but sometimes it's for the personality as well. And unfortunately, the way the algorithm works, people don't always get to see similar content that they'd enjoy from other creators. And so it's only when you have those crossovers do you get to find out about other creators that you might enjoy watching. Case in point, my friend Ben Chapman, who's good friends with Francis Cade, did a trip across India, and I think they did Malaysia as well. And Ben profited massively from that because people were watching Francis's videos and saw that Ben was in them, realised that he was making videos as well, and then went out to check his videos out. It's not necessarily a case of your audience hasn't built up because they don't want to watch your stuff. It's just because if you're a smaller channel, they may not even see you. Now going back to personality for a second, you could have two creators making a video reviewing exactly the same product, but you get two completely different results from it because of the way that they present it. I know for certain that I am a completely different presenter to the likes of Luke on the Trace Bello channel. He does a massive amount of research and goes really in depth on some of the cheap Chinese products that he reviews from AliExpress. I do similar reviews on products from AliExpress, but I probably do much more of a real world review, which Luke does go into as well, but his is a lot more technical and a lot more nuanced. So again, someone watching a review of a particular product from one creator is not then going to think, well, I've seen everything I need to see about that now, and decide not to watch a review from another one, because there's always a different perspective to be had. And as an aside, talking about Luke from Trace Bello, I happened to bump into him at the Lee Valley Velodrome a couple of weeks ago and got chatting to him for a little bit about, well, all things cheap bike and AliExpress. What an absolute gent that chap is. It's no wonder his channel is so popular. He's a top bloke. Right, we're a little way into this right now, and I actually haven't filmed that much of it because, yeah, I've been chatting to Chris about various tips and tricks on YouTube and how to succeed, or at least how I've succeeded to the point that I'm at. And we're just about to arrive at breakfast. So let's go and get a bite to eat, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how I think YouTube is not a competition. Oh, we've actually got here too quickly. We're clearly riding too fast this morning. Right, but that was a lovely breakfast. And when I say breakfast, I only had a cup of tea because, as I've mentioned various times before, I'm still fasting at the moment because I do need to lose some of this summer weight. It's normally winter weight, but no, for me, it's summer weight because, yeah, chocolate and crisps are my downfall. Right, I think I've spoken enough at the moment. As soon as I'm out with Chris, it's probably wise to have a chat with him about how he's finding YouTube. So, how have you found it so far and how are you getting on?
So, for me, I've been watching YouTube, cycling content in particular, for a good 2, maybe more years. I thoroughly enjoy it, learn so much from it. I'd say like for the last year, been that little voice in the back of my head saying, could I do it? You know, could I give it a go? And it's gradually grown. And I just thought one day, let's just give it a go, what's there to lose? So I've had 3 videos out at the minute, still really early days, but the creativity and ideas are coming into bed, I've just thoroughly enjoyed. And likewise engaged with people like yourself, like-minded individuals. It's just been really inspiring, to be honest. Yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying about collaborations earlier, because it can only be a good thing when more creators are making more cycling content. And that is my big takeaway, is that especially in the cycling space, the more people out there creating content means that there's going to be more people inspired to get on a bike. And that can only be a good thing. Being a photographer, I also watch a lot of photography content, as you might imagine. And the guy who's probably biggest in that space at the moment, and has been for a long time, is Peter McKinnon. Morning. And he absolutely exploded onto YouTube, gaining his first 1 million subscribers in 9 months on the platform. And so with that came a lot of notoriety, and the other large content creator on YouTube, Casey Neistat, got in touch with him and they did a few collaboration videos together. And in one of the videos, Casey specifically addressed the issue of competition, because there were a lot of comments on his video saying, well, isn't Peter competition for you now because you both do photography, videography? Isn't Peter going to be taking away views from your audience? And very much like I've been saying in this video, Casey said, well, no, it's not about competition. It's just about getting more people creating content on a subject that other people are interested in.
Great question here. Do you see Peter as a competitor or as a friend?
Ooh, fun.
No, as a friend, but I'd say the same thing about all YouTubers. Anyone who works in a space as big as YouTube and thinks that somebody else's success is going to slow them down is sorely mistaken. YouTube is not at all a zero-sum game. It is the more people who can succeed on this platform, the more we will all succeed on this platform.
Like said, the internet is big enough for everyone.
But beyond that, it also pushes you to do more as well, because it's not competition, it's inspiration and motivation. But as ever, I'm interested in what you guys think. How do you consume your cycling content? Do you think that there's too much? Or are you desperate for more and think there's never enough for you to watch? As ever, I'm always keen to hear your thoughts, so leave me a comment below. And also, if you've been thinking about starting your own YouTube channel, this might just be the nudge that you need. Always more than happy to give advice or tips, so drop me a message on Instagram. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I will leave the link to Chris's channel down below. So from me and from Chris, we'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Ride safe.